Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Nobu Ide, in charge of Wacom as CEO. Thank you. Thank you for joining our fiscal year 39 shareholder meeting part 2. Thank you. All right, so we just finished the first round session in this morning Japan time. And we got a great questions and dialogue with shareholders. So I'm so happy to have second round from now on. The shareholder meeting part 2, the session called Let Us Talk About Our Technology. Thank you for joining us. Okay, please put on the slide. Yes, right. And today we already done the kind of regular shareholder meeting. So what do we like to do? Today is we like to share our technologies and technology update through our engineer's voice, and having dialogue with me. And today we're going to have some eight groups waiting here. EMR group, AS group, and mechanical technology groups carrying environmental things also, core technology teams, and the teams which is working on the remote work solutions and XR solutions and AI and digital ink and digital rights protections. So total 8 teams. I'm going to have a dialogue. And through our dialogue, we like to deliver our passions, our intent, and the latest situations of our technology development. All right, thank you. So are we ready to start? Okay, let's move on. So first group, let me walk down here. And I'm going to switch language to Japanese so you can listen to the simultaneous translations. こんばんは。河合さん、どうも。
Good evening.
はい、河合さん、ようこそ。
河合さん、
はい、河合さ
welcome.
ん、どんなお仕事をいつもされてますか？
What are you doing normally
私は
as your work?
構成形担当してまして
I am in charge of designing the structure,
スタンドの
mainly
ど
the
はいおります
designing of the structure of the stands.
どんなスタンドですか？
So what kind of stands did you bring here this time?
スタンドを用意しまして
I have two types of stands this time. The first one
レ
is
バー握ってディスプレイを
with the lever.
角度
It's possible to tilt the display. You can change the angle, and with the lifting function, you can bring the screen to the front, and the user can draw or write near closer to himself herself.
のスタンドは
That's one. And the other stand is you can move forward and backwards, and
チルトの角度ディスプレイの角度
the angle of the display by tilting you can change.
機能としては回
And another function is possible to rotate.
現在はワコムのオリジナルのスタンドと
This
して
stand is Wacom original stand right now.
スタンド大事ですよね。
Stands are really important to support the creators, I believe.
どんな新しいスタンドを？
What are the latest ones that you're working on, the
紹介した
stands?
このチルトと
The tilting one and lifting, you can bring the screen to the front, and rotating
固定できる
whatever angle possible to fix it, including all that function. We're now trying to develop a stand with all that function, all those functions. What are the difficulties that you are facing?
2つでも結構複雑な機能
Even with the
構造にな
two
っている
functions, the structure becomes pretty complex.
今全部の機能が一つのところに密集したよう
Now
な形で
we're trying to work on one with all the functions concentrated, and also the structure is becoming more complex, and the core is the locking capability or the operability parts, and fine-tuning of those components or parts are really difficult, so I have to do the adjustment every day.
スタンドを通しての野望。
Kawai-san, what's your ambition
はい
through
い
your
ろんな角度だと
making of these stands with various angles or various positions? We want to deliver to the customers various stands, and if the customers can operate, use comfortably, I would like to produce products like that.
創作をね。
So with the stands, you are supporting the creation of the creators.
ありがとうございます。はい、ありがとうございます。
He's really working
はい、
on
じゃあ
this.
次のEMR
strongly committing. Thank you. So this is the second EMR team member, Kotani-san. What are you normally doing? I am in charge of the development of displays for branded products. Okay, displays you're working on. In particular, the image quality of the displays and countermeasures against noises. The EMR sensor of Wacom and Pen, if that were the heart of the product, I believe the display is the face of Wacom's product. So it's the face of the product. This is Cintiq Pro 16, which was launched last year as a massive produced product. We are focusing particularly on the quality of the image, reflecting the voices requests from various creators. In order to satisfy that, we collaborated with the display manufacturers and created the image quality of Wacom. So you might have faced various difficulties. Yes, on the other hand, the displays, from the sensor's point of view, displays are just noise. If 60 inches, it was possible to cancel noises with the conventional technologies. However, when it becomes larger, like 30-inch displays, rather than the signal from the pens, the noise that comes from the displays can be larger by multiple times. So the appropriate coordinate of the pen cannot be detected if that's the case. How did you overcome that issue? With the display manufacturers, we tried to collaboratively develop the methodology to decrease the noises, and with the sensor engineers, we come up with a functionality to cancel the noises. So we're working on every day. What's the aspiration, Kotani-san, yourself? With the display, the noises will change in various ways. With the knowledge that we have acquired, how we cancel the noise, we want this to be the de facto standard of Wacom and to be implemented by the display manufacturers from the first place. So through the shareholders meeting, you are conveying your message to the display partners, I believe. Yes, to create the face of Wacom. Yes. So lastly, you want to show this on your T-shirt.
Give me a big applause, then I'll grow.
It says, give me a big applause and then I will grow. That's what's written on my T-shirt. So this is the third person. Arai-san, welcome. Arai-san, what do you normally do? Myself, I developed the firmware for pens and tablets. They're in the tablets, and there is a sensor there and detect the signal from the pen and will be calculated and have the cursor to be positioned at the right place. So this is a program to control the hardware, I believe. Yes. When you place the pen, the cursor coming to the right place, and you can draw the straight line that you want. This is quite natural, should be taken for granted, but actually various programs are functioning. Unless the programs are working okay, actually the lines could be curving or bending or waving, so you will not be able to draw in a comfortable manner. Even if you thought you drew a straight line, it could be bending like this. If a tablet is like this, you will not feel like drawing using that tablet. So whatever the place, whatever the positioning of the pen, in order to have the pen draw accurately, we are creating the firmware. If that's the case, you can draw the lines in the right manner. Yes, on the background there are so many programs working. You might think that just a small adjustment would allow the pen to draw accurately, but actually there's so many things going on.
The reason is that, as was explained regarding the display, there is noise from the screen, and there are many designs of tablets, so design could be a constraint. And also, there are impacts from peripheral components. So on a daily basis, we are measuring the characteristics of product, and we are doing tuning. Sometimes we come up with new algorithm to create firmware. So firmware is the accumulation of wisdom and efforts of engineers. Yes, so through the efforts, we are doing our best to maximize our performance. What's your ambition or aspiration or message? So no matter how it's used, we would like to have this product showcase the maximum performance. So when creators can draw a straight line, please think about her face. The straight line is as a result of her tremendous efforts. So thank you very much, Ms. Arai. So next, the fourth person from EMR team, Mr. Tatsuno. Welcome. What kind of work do you do? In technology solution business, I am working on EMR digitizer, which is firmware, and that's what I'm developing. So that's Galaxy series. So what's that? This is the world's first BMI digitizer type Galaxy Z Fold 3, the foldable smartphone with pen embedded in it. Okay, so it's foldable and you can draw on it. Oh, that's wonderful. That's something you've developed. And there's one more thing, right? Yes, there's one more thing. This is the other product, Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. That's wonderful. So to the main body, the pen can be inserted and stored inside the body. Yes, note type is back with integration with S series. So not only the pen integrated into the main body, I'm told different upgrades made. Yes, new IC has been developed and then incorporated into this body. So it has higher performance than Note series. For example, the sampling speed has been accelerated and the latency has been shortened and performance has been improved. Okay, so shorter latency and naturally a straight line can be drawn. Okay, so Note type series is back. You have developed many things, but I'm sure you have had difficulties. Exactly. For example, earlier I explained Z Fold 3. It's the first in the world. And digitizer was developed and firmware was developed, and many times we've conducted tuning in trial and error. In the behind the scene, while we were developing this, in behind the scene, we were also developing IC for Ultra S22. Okay, so two developments were ongoing in parallel. Yes, so not only technically, but schedule-wise, we were facing difficulty. Yes, so but through a team efforts, we could deliver the two developments at the same time. Any words of your aspiration, finally? By renewing our own technology, we would like to deliver new values to clients. So everyone, when you see Galaxy S series, please think of Mr. Tatsuno's face in addition to Samsung, and please think how they are spending sleepless days working on development. Thank you very much, EMR team. Let us move on to the next team, AES team, Active Electrostatic team. So finger touch technology is used for our pen. So first person, Mr. Sakamoto, what kind of work do you do every day? So AES pen structure design is what I do. So starting from the development of products, I also engage in the evaluation and volume production. Okay, so these days, what's the latest in development? Okay, this is the products for Fujitsu linear pen that's mounted onto Fujitsu's Lux system. So this is the latest. Yes, this is the latest linear pen. And what about this? That's the conventional one. Yes, comparing the two, the tip of the pen are very different. The latest one is sharper. Yes, conventional pen had the 30 degrees in the the sharpness. The latest one has 26 degrees, so 4 degrees sharper than the previous model. So what benefit comes from the sharper tip? So when you tilt the pen, when you draw something, you can tell the difference. Okay, I'm tilting the pen this way. And even when you hold the pen almost flat, the sensor can identify the pen, and you don't have to apply too much pressure. Yes, it writes naturally. What kind of difficulty did you face though? So in order to sharpen the tip, and in order to make the body more thin, we had to improve the durability that gave us challenge. Okay, so you had to make the pen durable because now that the pen is thinner, right? Because we've made the components compact. So durability had to be secured on the other hand, but by going through various improvements, we could attain the same level of durability as the previous model. And this pen has been launched into the market quite recently, so we hope that customers will buy. And what's your personal ambition? Regarding linear pen, it's just been launched into the market, and there will be more models to come in the days ahead. And we will keep updating our model, and we are hopeful that we can make improvement. And we hope that many clients will adopt and buy and adopt this pen. So when you see this sharp edge, please think of his face. Thank you very much, Mr. Sakamoto. Next person from AES team, Yamaguchi-san, Mr. Yamaguchi. So, how are you doing? And what kind of work do you do? Inside the pen, there is customized IC, and I evaluate the performance and also evaluate the performance of new functions. Okay, so what goes inside the pen as well as new functions. That's what you are evaluating. That's right. And what I have here today is the different versions of the products going through. I would like to walk you through the evolution of our products. So at the starting point, we had this. On top of an empty box, we have attached a pen and the prototype main board. This is the prototype. And prototype with which we started our development. So you may say pen is attached with a tape to the empty box. Then we came to the next version. The shape looks more like a pen. I don't know if we can still call this a pen. Can you say this is a pen? This is a pen. Well, it's big, and after that, what happens? So then eventually we could realize the more compact design, it's the same size as the real pen. But before getting to this stage, so now you see a drastic change from the initial phase to what we have now. But we've accumulated small accomplishments based upon evaluation, and we could get to where we are now. So after this, what is your aspiration? I do not have something that I can show you now, but in addition to the pens, we are evaluating and working on development of new functions. And as I do so, the challenge we faced was how to evaluate the feel to the fingers. Not only improving the performance, you had to evaluate the feel of the product. We do not have the specific date of when the new function can be launched, but in the near-term future, I do hope that the new functionality will be realized. So I do hope that users will look forward to that. So Wacom technology could have new functions in the days ahead, in the near-term future. And when you identify new feature or functionality, please think about Yamaguchi-san's face. So the third person from AES team, Mr. Kagami. Hello. So what kind of work do you do every day? What I do is, well, when it comes to pen and touch, well, what I do is development and evaluation of IC chips. So for example, this one, This is a Fujitsu Lux, and this is a sensor and the touch controller. And this black chip, this is what I'm developing.
So this is done by your team. Yes. The touch and pen is detected and sent to the system. So this semiconductor is controlling the experience here. Yes. And compared with the previous IC, cost is lower, and also countermeasures against noise are improved. The linear pen, in order to make it to this shape, the signal was weaker. So the new chip, the noise durability has become better. So with this sharper pen, the better performance can be obtained. I believe there had been many difficulties to create this semiconductor IC chip. Yes. We will be working on this together with the IC manufacturer. There were interaction with the IC manufacturers. When we evaluate when there are issues, we have to talk to them. And also when it becomes a product, then there could be other issues. And if that happens, by cooperating internally, we will be taking countermeasures to overcome those issues. So not just manufacturing the semiconductors, that's not all, but once incorporated into the product, you have to solve the issues that may come from the experience of the customers as well. Yes. What is your ambition? Because it's an IC, it's a bit separate from the product itself, but we would want to create products where people would think that, oh, this is truly a Wacom product. So if you feel that this is a good product, please think that Kagami-san's IC is inside that product. Please be reminded of Kagami-san. Kagami-san, thank you. So this is the fourth person from AES team, Hatano-san. Good evening. Welcome. Hatano-san, what do you normally do? Normally, touch and AES algorithm, firmware development, and adjustment. That's what I'm doing. You are a firmware engineer. What are you actually doing? In actuality, the linear pens or the signals that are coming from the IC, firmware analyzes that and finds out where the coordinate is. It has to be placed at where the pen is. So that's what you're doing. Yes, our team worked on this Lux as well. We have realized the best writing feel, drawing feel with our product. So that firmware is being controlled by your team. Yes. What's the difficulty with the IC pen functionality improving? There's more expectation. We have to show that our firmware is also really good. In the case of Lux, the tilting function or the linearity of the coordinate, that is something that we pursued. So within the technology team, you are trying to compete with each other. Yes. Not just AES, but we're also working on touch. So it's not just pen. I would like to introduce that. This is a Panasonic model. Here we have this glove mode and water droplet mode. So here's a glove, so I will wear this glove. And please write with your glove on. Wow, with this thick glove, I can still draw. Here, the touch level is quite low. This is working glove level for construction work. Yes, like about 1/10 of the touch level, but the firmware can still detect the touch. And also this water droplet. Can you try? You think you're going to spray to me?
言っちゃいますよ。はい。
パワーハラスメントではございません。
This is not power harassment.
頼まれているから僕がかけている。
I am spraying because I was asked to do so. Now,
言っていただいて。
please spray it.
はい。
はい。
で実際にまあこうやって
Yes.
水滴がかかってるわけなんです。
Now you see the droplets here.
こうやって書くことができます。
普通
You
ね、
can actually
スマホとかももう
draw
雨が降ってた
still
ら
with the droplet.
動作とか
Normally,
タッチできなかったり
with
するけど、
smartphones
こんなに
in the rain, you won't be able to operate well enough. But here, you
この辺りも
can
やはりちょっと
still,
ハードウェアの方で
this,
いろいろ
the
その水滴
it
を
still detects the
かかった状態
touch,
のレベルっていうのを解析して
the level
指の下に出す
of the droplet, the firmware detects that, analyzes that, and will be showing what's being drawn on. With these functionality, the noises or the constraints on the hardware, there are constraints, but the firmware works on that. We are working on that with the firmware, and we are showing what we can do to the customers. So to the shareholders, what is your ambition? Better touch and better performance. We would want to be able to achieve that even more. So I appreciate your support going forward as well. Thank
それ
you.
では AES チームありがとうございました。
Thank
じゃ
you,
あ次の
AES
質
team
問に行きましょう。
members. I will go to the
どう
next
もお待たせし
team.
ました。
Ono-san, thank you for waiting. Mechanical technology team, various materials or developing new structures. That's what this team is doing. Good evening, Ono-san. What do you normally do?
いろんな材料の
Myself,
製品だとか
various materials toward the next product
材料を調査したり
or products in the future. I conduct research on the materials or the structures or mechanisms.
技術として
As a technology, we try to accumulate that. That's what I'm
今
doing.
日はどんな自慢を持ってきてく
So
れました
what
か。
do you want to show us today?
環境に優しい材料
Firstly,
っていうところで
environmentally friendly material.
したので
I
は
have
い
brought
たいんですけど
those materials here now.
過去世界的に
In the
SDGs に
past,
積極的に取り組むような流れが強まってますので、ちょっとWacomとして
Right now, we have more stronger trend to focus on SDGs. So Wacom would like to work on those as well. Here, this is made
新しい複合材料という
a composite material made from ocean
10%
mineral
材料全体のうち75%
materials.
が
75% are made from ocean seawater mineral materials. The characteristic is like you feel like it's like a ceramic or coral reef, maybe. It feels a bit cool. 75% is composed of seawater mineral, and the remaining 25% is oil derived. So the environmental burden is lower. Right now, it's a sample,
こんな風に
but now we have it in the form of a product. So we're now doing the evaluation. So with the tablet form, you are now testing this. Yes. And what is this one?
外のケースの部分に
The case part
こちらの
outside,
材料はですね
the material for
海洋
that
分解性
is
プラスチックということで
seawater
ま
biodegradable
して
plastic.
海に流れ出てしまっても
If they were,
約
if this were to go
9
out to the
ヶ月
sea in 9 months,
90% は
90%
水と二酸化炭素に
will
分解
be
されて
degraded into water and carbon dioxide.
分解されていく素
So
材
it will be naturally dissolved.
で
Yes.
まあ原料としては木
The
材だとか
material for
あ
this
とは食べら
wooden
れない
woods
多食性の食べられない植
or
物だとかから作られる
non-edible
セルロース
plants,
っていうのを使っていまして
cellulose is used.
まあこれその材料がまあ全体
And
の
the material for that
使われていて
accounts for about 50%
まあ普通のプラスチック
of the total, and the remaining is derived from normal plastic type of materials. Only 50% petroleum derived materials, so contributes to reduction of the use of oil derived materials, and also contributes to the reduction of the use of edible resources. So contributing in 2 ways. And what is this? The white part of this pen, the material for that is limestone. Limestone, so again, it's a natural material, yes, non-organic. limestones you can find all over the world. Even in Japan, it's possible to supply for all the demand in Japan. So there's no risk of depleting. And also limestones are non-organic. In the life cycle, even if burned, it does not emit much of carbon dioxide. So again, this is eco-friendly. And one characteristic is once you use this, dissolve and can be recycled to be used as a pellet. So this is recyclable. You have developed very good materials indeed. And this one?
Also, another thing that we are working on is, in addition to the material exploration, I am leading the research on the ease of drawing. When users use our products, users give us feedback as to the usability, and users have their impressions based upon the usability or the feel of utilizing the product, and we would like to quantify the feedback from users. Yes, the feel of the pen, that's important. And then this is a prototype model that we have created. So this is conventional model on the right, compared with a sheet on the model on the right. The left one, the sound is, it sounds quite crisp. It sounds like exactly drawing on actual paper. So we are doing research on the feel of drawing on the surface. What's your ambition? Well, my ambition would be for many people who have their own preferred feel of writing or drawing, and I would like to come up with a product that meet the desired feel of drawing with our products. So I myself draw paintings, so I want many people to enjoy drawing. So I hope you keep up your good efforts. Thank you very much, Mr. Ono. Okay, thank you. That was Mr. Ono from Mechanical Technology. So when you enjoy the good feel of the drawing, please think of his face.
Let's move on. So next room is XR, which is we are developing Wacom VR Pen, which is one of the 3 core technology, 3 new experience which we are developing. So let's visit these XR rooms. ハローハロー。はい、どうも藤岡さん、菊池さんです。どうも。ようこそようこそ。ありがとうございます。藤岡さん。はい。
Thank you very much, Mr. Fujioka. So what kind of work do you do? In Wacom, I am working on development of VR pen and an XR business and product planning and design. That's what I did. So what do you have today? So far, when drawing in the air, so the experience of drawing in the air was experience we were delivering. But today, in VR, when we use pen tablet, how can we use pen tablet in the VR environment? Yeah, usually users draw directly in the space, but that's not the only thing that we can deliver, right? Yes. So, Mr. Fujioka, can you do the demonstration with that? So on this screen, what you see is what Mr. Fujioka sees through that goggle. And today, from 2 perspectives, I want to show you the demonstration. First, how creators use the tablet, and then secondly, the perspective of reviewers, such as client or the managers. As you see, the lines of the cars. So in the virtual environment, we draw the line, but sometimes you cannot appropriately draw lines in the air or space. So when you want to do the design of the grill part, what I do is this. So inside the VR space, the Wacom's tablet comes up.
Oh,
Yes, and we draw on the tablet and put it closer, and only the lines can be left like this. Okay, this is the lines that you drew on the tablet. So the lines Mr. Fujioka drew on the tablet is left on the virtual space. And also by using the VR pen, we can enlarge the drawing. And that's the perspective of creators, and that's functions used by creators. And the other perspective is the review of design. So let's say I am the manager who is reviewing the design, and I want to append a comment to the design. Let's say the meter or instrumentation next to the steering wheel is difficult to be seen. So I want to give a comment. So let's say this is a meter, and this is the height of the steering wheel, and it should be lowered. The steering wheel should be lowered. Then, just like a post-it, it can be appended to the design. Then, okay, exactly like a post-it. So, even those who are not used to the controller of VR, they can place a comment. So even though I don't know how to make a comment, but just like a post-it, I can place a comment on a post-it format. So that's an example for automobile. But when it comes to the design of figure models, conventionally in communication with clients, review was based upon screenshots from certain angle. But by utilizing VR, we can move to different angles. And for example, from the back, we can go around to the back, and this is a hair part. For example, I could say it should be moved up. So I'm writing comment. It should be brought further back. And I add the comment. And just like a post-it, I place this memo and nuanced comment can be given as a feedback, and that's realized by utilizing the tablet inside the VR. So more granular level communication is supported by this function. So not only designers, but the reviewers will find this function useful. Exactly. Oh, that's wonderful. Mr. Fujioka, I believe you faced many difficulties, but what kind of difficulties did you face? So many difficulties to remember. The most difficult thing is the first step. So of having customers take the first step and use VR. So once they start using VR, they'll get used to it and keep using it. So once this VR pen is released, I do hope that gives the reason for people start using the VR. So what's your ambition? For each creator to have one VR pen. That's the ambition I want to accomplish. So VR pen becomes kind of a standard for creators. So let's create that kind of world. Thank you very much for explanation.
Okay, thank you, Hiro. Okay, let's move back. So next topics is we are going to talk about remote work creations. So in these days, not only just getting together in creative studio or remote work environment is more growing. So the people are living, in the distance and getting together on the cloud environment, and they are working together for the collaborative creations. So for this topic, let me talk with Mike in Portland from US. Ken, hello, Ken.
Hello.
Hey, Ken, how are you doing?
Doing okay.
Yeah. What time it is now in Portland?
Oh, it is like, what is it? It's 2 in the morning.
2 a.m. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ken. All right. So, yes, we just talked about a remote work environment, remote creations. So you are working for the project Mercury, which is going to support remote work. So could you tell us about your project?
Yeah, I mean, with recent changes in the world in relation to COVID-19, the remote computing has become an important part of the business environment. So Wacom has been working with remote computing partners to improve the remote computing experience, especially for things that use the Wacom tablet as a tool of graphic arts specifically. The biggest issue with the Wacom tablet for remote computing is related to the configuring of the tablet for the remote application and just the latency of the remote connection. So Project Mercury is designed to address those issues. We are working with the virtual desktop provider to provide a private channel to transmit the data to and from, to basically connect the two drivers that are on the client system and the host system. That will allow the applications to use the WinTab interface on the remote system and allow the remote applications to be able to use the application-specific settings on the client application. And it will also make it slightly faster. This will also allow us to do some processing on the client machine, and that processing will sort of pre-plot the location of the cursor, and it's called instant stroke line, and Kata-san will talk about that later.
Great, Ken. Thank you. So sounds like very seamless experience. So how are you confident? Have you ever talked with customers regarding your project? Yeah.
We have done some talking to customers. We believe that they are wanting the project. We've done some proof of concepts, and we are working right now with a current virtual desktop provider to actually implement a real-world working version.
Okay, great, Ken. So we're going to move on the instant stroke, which Kato-san is going to demo. So could you stay tuned together with us for a while before you go to bed, before you got a whiskey, right?
Sure, no
All
problem.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. はい、それではですね、
Okay.
今、Ken が
Now,
紹介してくれた
as Ken introduced the Project Mercury.
そこでも出ていた
So, instant stroke is what he talked about. But Mr. Kato, could you speak about instant stroke? And what work do you do now? Usually, what I'm working on is the firmware development, firmware that goes into tablet. And today, how tablet remotely collaborates. That's what I would like to explain today. So let's say this is the tablet in front of you. So this data is sent remotely like this. So slowly it goes out and comes back. So this is the cause for the this is the cause of this is due to the network stability. So to make it more comfortable with our Wacom's original technology, instant stroke was developed. So how does it work? Like this. So the speed is the same. However, it feels like the latency is shorter. So actual latency is there. So it's just an impression or illusion. But it makes it look like the users are experiencing less latency. So actually, network latency is there, but from the perspective of creators, they feel like they have shorter latency. So let's keep working on instant stroke. And instant stroke that Kato-san introduced. With various partners, we are experimenting the instant stroke. And Mr. Asada is working on the joint experiment. What work do you do? What I do is remote and cloud pen comfortability improvement. So you are experimenting instant stroke, but what kind of experiment are you doing? As Mr. Kato said, internet latency cannot be eliminated, but to what extent can we shorten it? That's what we are jointly working on through our project.
For communication technology, we have this company working on communication technology and the remote computing company as well. the things that were built there, the creators at Animation Studio will be testing that. So the 4 companies, including Wacom, are working on this. Yes, what has been the progress so far? The composition configuration, firstly, the host computer is using cloud and also using edge server. It's one of the technology within edge computing, so closer to the users, but the pathway to there, the 5G network is used. When you actually try it, what we hear is this really done on a remote basis? People are surprised. The creators are surprised. Yes, once they try, they are quite surprised. That's really good. So as the experiment goes on, some point you will commercialize this. Yes, as an experience, the procedures for connecting, how this can be made into a natural field, that is what we are focusing on. What is your ambition? My ambition, this is sort of the reason why we are using 5G, but at a remote environment there, the fixed lines are recommended, but by using 5G wave, not just at home or office, but there can be some other places that you can work from. Maybe when you are out, it's possible to use as well. So new work style for the creators you might be able to provide. Yes. Thank you so much. Asada-san, Kato-san, it will be good. Excuse me, if there is someone testing the Pentam under a 5G antenna, it might be these 2 people. So they're just experimenting, so please leave them as they are. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, everyone. So the next team, artificial intelligence combined with digital pen. Education team, Nomi-san. Nomi-san, what do you normally do? I belong to the technology solution department. I provide pens and touch panels to the customers. That's my mainly job. But also, we are providing the experiences to the customers. What are you going to be introducing today? Cloud and pen, that has been the experience that I introduced, but today I would like to focus on education. There are 3 points. Firstly, you know how it was written, how it was drawn, and secondly, you know what had been drawn or written, and the third is beyond that, how you can utilize, leverage from there. That I want to show you by demonstration. So 1, 2, and 3. Firstly, how we draw or how we write. We have a special guest from STTech, a famous person. So this from STTech, Suzuki-san, a very famous person, is a partner. Normally, the fusion of the technology with Wacom and STTech, we have been working as a team for more than 1 year by now. We're trying to challenge some interesting topics. So Suzuki-san, can you conduct the demo? Firstly, the ink and pen, how they can contribute to education. Now, I'd like to do some calculation here. Calculation work here. +5 equal -3. This formula reminds me of a long time ago. 4x. I think I'm right. -8. So 16 here. X equal 4. X equal 4. So by handwriting, you can draw like this. You can write like this. There are other tasks here. I will skip them. Now, checking the answers. If the answer is correct, you can see that your answer is correct. But not only that, what we're working on now is the process to reach that answer. How you had been solving this formula. The answer is correct, but maybe you were having a bit of trouble at this part in the process. That's what it tells you. Yes, these blue points are the parts that you were thinking for some time, and the larger circle indicates that you were thinking even more. So this point is the place that you might have been facing difficulty. You can provide education that fits to that specific individual. So that's number one, how it was written. You're trying to analyze that. So the digital ink will, the characteristic of that is leveraged here. And the second, to identify what was written or drawn, Milan-san will be talking about that.
Milan, hello. Thanks for waiting. Yeah, so they just did a great demo, point one, how it is written, right? And you're going to talk about what it is written, right?
Yeah, so true, that's a very interesting topic. And we all know that one big advantage of handwriting is really that it's easy to create and mix together various types of content like text, diagrams, formulas, drawings, and so on. Especially in the education domain, for example, when solving math problems, if you think about this, really, the way we solve math problems using pen is so convenient that it will probably stay like it is forever. No reason to change it. The issue with this is actually how machines understand this, and it's currently very hard for a machine to understand such type of mixed content. So the existing handwriting recognition engines are capable of recognizing just separate types of content. For example, only text, only math, only drawings. When you mix those together, it becomes a mess. So our goal is to create technology that is capable of solving this problem, first by categorizing the parts of the content, and then by feeding the different parts to the specific recognition engines. So this is a very challenging problem. It requires complex machine learning algorithms, but we have a great team of engineers who already have good progress, significant progress. And at the end, what we want to achieve was the goal of all of this. We want to help teachers to do their work faster and to focus on the most important aspects of their work, actually. And we want to help students by analyzing their work and finding the areas where they need to improve.
Great. Thank you, Milan. So our technology is going to contribute to the education sectors for helping even teachers, saving their time for the more innovative things, and yeah, great. And also, your technology is connecting to the semantic ink, right? Which Hiro and
yes, of course,
it is going to introduce.
It is the prerequisite for semantic ink.
Yeah, so very, very important components you're developing. Thank you, Milan. Yeah.
Thank you, Nobu.
Yeah. By the way, where are you now?
I'm in Sofia, Bulgaria, in our great office in Sofia.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Please keep stay tuned. そしたらちょっと今戻ってきまして今
Now coming back,
何を書いたかということを
what Milan had drawn. So lastly, as was mentioned already, semantic ink. What was drawn and how we connect to adaptive learning, that is the point. Here, I will show you a demo. What is Wacom's adaptive learning? So that's written in handwriting. What is Wacom's adaptive learning? and have this recognized. This is the process that we have had before, and you see the results of the recognition. The above is the recognition of the text, and looking below, you see the graph. This is a knowledge graph, what we call knowledge graph. And the topics that appear here, how do they relate to each other, each of the topic? This graph shows that. Wacom and adaptive learning, the topics appear here. To the factors to connect those two, we see semantic ink. So from what's drawn, the relationship or connecting the relationship, that's what semantic ink is doing. By using these things, as you write, you learn about various topics, and you can realize the meaning that you want to see. Not just estimating the meaning from what's been drawn or written, but not just from the big data, but the data that each corporates have. It is possible to pull out something from the database that each corporate may have. After handwriting or drawing in hand, by utilizing semantic ink, like for example, for the education suppliers or vendors, we might be able to help them, support them with providing information from the database, creating original database. That's what you're trying to do. So with this 1, 2, 3 steps, you're trying to build a new education service, yes, in order to closely work with the individuals. Yes. Thank you. Now we're going to visit the last team, digital rights protection. The digital copyright or rights, we want to go to the team that is creating service for digital rights. Ishii-san, what do you normally do? Right now, for the individual creators, the proof of authorship or the records of authorship under the name of Wacom Unify, this is the service that we provide with the team members domestically and also working with the partner companies on this service. So what are you actually doing? It's a bit technical, but SSI, self-sovereign identity, the technology to realize that concept, that is the system that we're working on. Briefly explaining about that, for a digital artwork, as we issue a unique ID that links to the authorship, and by combining with the watermark technology that's unique to Wacom, we convert that to the signal, and this is incorporated into the watermark as a digital ink. And by doing that, the authors will be able to have a peace of mind to distribute the artwork to the general public. That is what we're doing.
So today you are going to do the demonstration? Yes. And from SDTech, we have Mr. Suzuki once again for demonstration, again and again. So what kind of demonstration are you going to show us? So the proof of creation is invisibly embedded into the work. So it's a different painting than before. Yes. So this is what I've done. So the proof of creation invisibly will be embedded now. Then creator drew the painting and it's uploaded. Then on UEFI's server, the proof of creation is incorporated and that's downloaded. So I'm waiting for it to be processed. Then, so after downloading, what happens is this. This is what has been downloaded. So exactly the same. You don't see the difference, but this painting has the proof of creation embedded. So let's see. Let's take a look. So the downloaded painting is brought over here. Then So you see the information, watermark is embedded, and this painting was done by Mr. Hirotaka, Wacom creator. So inside the creative content, the watermark is embedded as the proof of creation. So that's the demo. So behind the content, invisibly watermark is embedded. Yes. So always I can prove that the creation is my creating, my work. Okay.
Joss, thanks for waiting. So they did also great demo using SSI, Wacom UEFI, and their digital watermark. So hey, Avinav, so can you start telling us what is SSI? What is the benefit for the creators? Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Nobu.
Yeah.
SSI, or self-sovereign identity as a technology, is very important in our concept of creative rights initiative, because through SSI, we can actually empower the artists to manage their digital rights by registering their creative content with a strong proof of creation, and thus provide a platform for managing their digital rights. So this allows us to create a permanent link between the creator and the content, and we can ensure here that the content is always linked to the author. And since we are documenting their creation record, it empowers our creators to start defining how they want their content to be used, and ensure that agreements that they make using our technology are enforceable in the real world. So it is indeed a very exciting technology for the creative industry as well as our customers. And they are very excited to be using something like this, as of now, there is no end-to-end solution for managing their digital rights in this environment. And what we do removes a lot of challenges that they have today.
Great, sounds great. And Joss, on top of this SSI server, so we are going to implement our unique technologies, digital watermarking, right? Josh, can you tell us about that?
Sure, yeah. So as Abhinav says, we use SSI, but we actually build on top of SSI to extend it for the work of digital work, rather than just being purely for kind of identity of a particular person. But that's not very useful in the sense that it's just kind of digital data being linked to each other. So with our watermarking technology, what we can do is we can actually link the artwork itself directly into the system, as Hiro-san just demonstrated in the demo there. And the way that works actually is we embed inside the watermark, we actually hide the number to link into our UEFI system. And the watermark isn't part of, say, like the EXIF data of a file or specific to a particular file type. We actually hide that information inside the characteristics of the image itself, which means that on one side, the creator can just use the image wherever they normally would, like publishing on their Instagram or their Facebook feeds. But also, if somebody takes that image and changes format or crops it, puts in another image, you can still take that resultant image, drop it into the scanner, and see the original kind of creator and the owner of the work. One of the other key pieces of the technology that we use as well is our handwritten signature technology inside of Wacom. So that's where you take your handwritten signature and write on one of our digital tablets. We use that to verify the artists themselves, and we also embed that data in the watermark. So what that gives you is a link between the image itself and the kind of the SSI world, but also the real world from the artist, and actually linking the artist into the image as well. So you can tie all the three, the physical world, the artistic world, and the digital world, all together using our proprietary technologies.
Great, sounds great, Josh. So do we have some image when we can have some tangible solutions for the creators or actual users?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're looking at creating something tangible, ready for users in November for a limited group. So this isn't just something that we're talking about inside of our development labs. This is something that's a real tangible product that you'll see in the world around about November time.
Great.
It's quite exciting.
Great. And Avinav, how are you confident for this solution? Have you ever talked with creators, artists regarding these solutions?
Yep, we have had a very positive response from all of the creators, because what you can do in the Creative Rights Initiative or in our UEFI platform, it is very difficult to manage in the real world. So our artists are very excited. They are actually lining up for using the service. So we have a very good feeling about this whole service.
Great, Avinav. Avinav, thank you. Thank you for sharing your views.
Thank you.
Okay, so then we finished covering all 8 components, 8 modules. Thank you, shareholders. Thank you for staying with us. And one more surprise. I have special guest. The Fike, who is leading whole Wacom creative business and also in charge of Wacom branded business. He happened to be in Tokyo today on shareholder meeting days. Fike, welcome.
Konbanwa.
Yay!
Also from my side, konbanwa.
Yes.
After 2.5 years,
Okay.
pandemic situation, now again in Tokyo,
Okay.
and it is great. It is exciting to see what the teams are really here doing, especially based on the value proposition we defined on the existing ones, but also on the new ones. I'm just looking forward to bring this to the market, and if I look at the confidence level of the teams, this is great.
Great, Fike. Right, and from your view, you're talking with a lot of customers, partners, communities. So how do you think how the creative communities are going to accommodate all these technologies? Do you have some view?
I think I would say it is also clear, or you hear this also from the team members. We grow with the creative community. That means we are now close to 40 years old. The company was founded 40 years ago, and with this, the community is part of us, and we are part of the community. With this, that means with the interaction with the community, if you then talk to them, Wacom products and the instrument in general, the feedback is really very clear. Wacom is the instrument which is extending my body. Then I can use this to really bring the ideas what I have in my mind on digital paper. That is more or less than the content what they are providing on what they are using. This is the creative.
Great. How about education sectors? So many opportunities we have. All our pen technology are used in education sectors. Do you have a view?
We are seeing that this is really getting now more and more popular, and we believe also in handwriting in this case. Here, to build the bridge between analog and digital, this is one of our key goals.
Okay.
And of course, we are using our products in the education industry for students, for teachers, in education institutions, etc. And there are going to be more products, especially in this area. And I think we showed also some technology which is really focusing on handwriting, digital ink, and education.
Definitely. Thank you, Fike. What is your personal ambitions and dream? Yeah. Can you share?
My personal ambitions, stay healthy. Besides staying healthy this year, the second one is really, I'm looking forward for 2022 because we are going to have a lot of new products this year. And this is where I'm looking, where I'm focusing, and I think the teams are focusing. And this is, I think, exciting enough.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fike. I already talked a lot about our second half of this fiscal year. New product, new experience are coming. So shareholders, please have Fike's face when you see the new products. Right.
It is my commitment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Fike.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, we covered everything. So engineers, please join me together. All right, so thank you for staying with us for a long time. We covered a lot of our topics, and I hope we could deliver fashion's intent, the latest update of our technology development, which is a source of our value proposition to users and communities. So I really appreciate. So taking this opportunity, if you have any questions or any comments or any suggestions you would like to take, so maybe you can use some chat or chat systems. Yeah, anything. Right. Okay. While we are waiting, so Josh, where are you now?
So I'm based in Frome in the United Kingdom, still down on the southwest. Wacom has a development team down here. It's probably one of our smaller offices, but it's definitely one of the most beautiful.
Great. The perfect place to develop the digital watermarking, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're by the forest, we're by the rivers. You can go and sort of think about these things. So, yeah, very creative kind of area.
Okay, good. And Avinav, where are you?
I'm based in our European headquarters in Düsseldorf, so in Germany.
Yeah, great. Are you playing the bass guitar?
Yes, sometimes.
Good, good.
Not as often as I would like to.
All right, all right. Yeah, please use a digital watermark for your flame. Okay, so it doesn't look like we got some comments. Maybe we delivered a lot, so need time for digestions. But I think we covered a lot. All right. So should we wrap up? Okay. All right. So thank you. We really had a great time, and once again, with all these team members, and please remember, behind all these team members, we have so many Wacom team members working hard and trying to implement their soul, passion, energy into the innovations. So I appreciate if you can feel some of them. So thank you so much. And thank you for joining us, Fiscal Year 39 Shareholder Meeting Part 2, the session. Please let us talk about our technology. Thank you so much. Thank you. See you next year. Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, Josh, Miller, and Ken, Avinav. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.